What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from the DESTIHL Brewery, and they're out of Normal, Illinois, and this is their peanut butter porter. So they're calling this one an American porter with peanut butter flavor. It comes in at 6.1% alcohol by volume, 25 IBUs at the time of review. This can is just under 6 months old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and a viewer of the channel, Todd, for hooking me up with this one. So big thanks to him for this beer. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that Todd hooked me up with. And it's funny, he sent me this one, and he didn't realize when he picked this one up that it was as old as it was. I think it was like around, I don't remember what he said, but he just didn't realize it was that old. But he did say that he enjoyed it quite a bit and it held up. So here we are, just under 6 months old, and hopefully it did hold up. So I've mentioned this before, but when it comes to like milk stouts and porters of the lower ABV nature, when they have adjuncts introduced to them, a lot of times they don't come through for me. A lot of times I'm disappointed with them. So this is 6.1% peanut butter porter. I'm hoping the peanut butter flavor is there and it's quite tasty. I have had a couple beers from DESTIHL in the past, but I've never reviewed one. So yeah, anyway, let's crack this one open. They do have tasting notes that I will hopefully remember to read at the end of the review. Sometimes that doesn't happen because I'm terrible at beer tubing. So here we go. Give it a pour. Ooh, that's what looking like brown, like a dark brown as opposed to anything else. So we're gonna pour the entire thing in here. This glass is pretty big, but yeah, the look of that beer is a lot lighter than I anticipated, honestly. So it poured out a really we'll say dark brown in the glass. It looks dark brown to me. On camera, it's probably gonna look pitch black, a little bit darker on camera, but there is like, it is dark brown, and as it gets to the bottom here, it's more of like just a straight up brown. Can not see through it, but you can see a little bit of light here at the bottom. Has about a finger of a very light tan colored head. Looking pretty creamy. Let's get a nose. Oh, yes, peanut butter. Oh, yeah. Okay, peanut butter's still there. Just under 6 months old. It is screaming, ripping off the top. It's creamy. It's sweet. It's very nutty. It doesn't, so I mentioned this in another review from him from, was it Mile Wide? Their big pastry stout. It was like a peanut butter cup pastry stout. Frivolous Ideation was the name of it. And I mentioned that review. A lot of times with peanut butter, you'll get either like a roasted peanut scent, or like a peanut butter powder, or like a nuttiness, or you'll get like creamy peanut butter. This has creamy peanut butter combined with a nice nuttiness, but it doesn't have like that roasted peanut butter or like peanut butter powder kind of nose. There's underlying roasted malts, a little bit of like a baker's chocolate, caramel, toffee, sweeter caramelized fruits, or caramelized sugars, not fruits. There is really no fruity sensation in this one. There's a very slight metallic kind of vibe to it. I typically get that in like milk stouts. I feel like in milk stouts, the lactose does that for me. I will get metallic, typically metallic aromas in milk stouts, lower ABV milk stouts, but it usually doesn't translate into the taste. Getting a little bit of that here, even though it's just a porter. It smells pretty good. Yes, it smells to me like a peanut butter stout, peanut butter porter. I would guess if I was doing this blind, peanut butter milk stout, just because of that metallic kind of vibe. But in general, it smells pretty good for a lower ABV peanut butter porter. It smells good. So let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Todd. That's real nice. Yeah, that is solid. Real solid. I'm going to say this, and I know there's one fellow beer tuber and really good friend of mine that's going to say something in the comments, but this is a very sessionable peanut butter porter. Looking at you, Paul, over at PA Brew News. It just has a super high drinkability for something that has like a pastry-esque kind of feel to it. And it's not pastry whatsoever, because this drinks like a beer with peanut butter flavor, as opposed to like a real sweet pastry stout that doesn't even taste like a beer, which I appreciate. So let's get into the body and mouthfeel first. Body's like higher side of light, lower side of medium, so it is a bit thin, Paul. Shot you out twice. It definitely is a bit thin. The mouthfeel, while it's more carbonated than I would hope, it still has a nice creamy, almost smooth sensation on the back of the palate. I would have liked to see them use maybe like a touch of, maybe they are, and I'm wrong. I'd like to see them use maybe a touch of lactose to like increase that creaminess and maybe slightly bump up the sweetness. It doesn't really need the sweetness all that much, but I think a little bit of lactose would maybe kick the creaminess in, or maybe a lot more oats or something. It needs a little bit more, I think, of creaminess because it is a peanut butter porter. The taste, though, roasted malts is the first thing that hits me at the front of the palate. Then a little bit of that baker's chocolate. Then it has a nuttiness that is distinctive peanuts, for sure. But then there's a little bit of like, you get some of that creamy like peanut butter vibe too right after that. As it passes through, the baker's chocolate and the peanut butter and the peanuts kind of intertwine, and you're left with, I'm not going to say necessarily like a peanut butter cup or something like that, but it just has a picture like some kind of confectionery chocolate peanut butter candy, right? Or a chocolate bar or something, but not to that level. It doesn't have the sweetness. It has the flavors that something like that would have. On the back of the palate, it dissipates and fades into this really nice generic kind of earthiness, very mild bitterness, semi-sweet or semi-dry, so also semi-sweet, but semi-dry finish. Not too sweet, very drinkable. 6.1%, you can't even tell. This is the definition, to me, of a sessionable adjunct stout. If somebody's looking to session, a 6% stout, and you want peanut butter as the adjunct, this is really good for what it is. I could easily drink 2 or 3 of these. I don't think it would overwhelm my palate because the peanut butter isn't too big. There's nothing here that's too much. It doesn't have an overbearing sweetness. It's not too dry. It's not too bitter. There's not too much of that peanut butter character. You can taste the base beer. I think it works pretty well. Is it my favorite like peanut butter porter or like porter in general? No, but I think fucking did a pretty good job with this one, so I can't sit here and complain too much about it. Let's put it this way. I am not disappointed that Todd sent me this one, and I'm impressed that almost 6 months old, it held up. That peanut butter flavor held up. The negatives of this one to me are obviously the body and the mouthfeel. It's a bit thin, and I would want a little bit more of that smooth creaminess that I'd associate with something that says peanut butter on it. But at the end of the day, it's a 6.1% peanut butter porter. Not going to complain too much about it because what's in the glass is pretty damn good. So I'm going to give Destihl's peanut butter porter, we are going to go straight 4 out of 5. I was thinking maybe like a low 4 out of 5. No, I think it's a 4 out of 5. I really do. I think it's out. I think if you're in and around Normal, Illinois, or you check out Destihl stuff and you like peanut butter beers, you could do much worse than this, without question. It's pretty damn tasty. It says nutty, chocolatey, smooth. Okay. Tasting notes, chocolate and caramel. I did not get really any caramel notes from roasted malt collide with creamy peanut butter flavor. Yeah, to some extent. Creating a luxurious combination on the palate. Subtle sweetness, yes. Medium body, no. Lower side of medium body. And creamy mouthfeel. Again, they're saying medium body and creamy mouthfeel. To me, this is like the lower side of medium body, and the mouthfeel needs a little bit more creaminess. I don't think it's necessarily full-on creamy. Give way to a smooth finish, yes, providing a liquid dessert sensation for the senses. I wouldn't call this liquid dessert. Again, this is a sessionable non-pastry pastry stout. Like that's what porter. That's what I kind of. And here's the thing: it is a porter as a when you compare it to a stout, there's not a huge difference between porters and stouts. My own personal take on it is typically whenever I have a porter, it's a little bit of a thinner body, and the mouthfeel usually isn't as great as a stout, and that's exactly what I'm experiencing right now. So maybe I'm just completely wrong, which I usually am. Price point availability, Todd, this is all you, buddy. I have no idea. I would imagine 6-packs of this are probably like $10 to $12, maybe 14. It shouldn't be too crazy. It's 6%. It's it's 6.1%. It's a peanut butter porter. And availability, I have no idea what Destihl. A lot of their beers that I've had in the past came courtesy of people in Ohio, so I know they got distilled in Ohio. But here, I have not seen Destihl. Maybe at some point they will show up, or maybe they have in the past, but I have no idea. So if anybody out there knows the distro and Destihl, let me know. But yeah, I think this is good. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. Again, this is a sessionable peanut butter porter, and I think it's pretty damn solid. So thanks again to Todd for hooking me up with this one. Thanks everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. 6.1%. Can't tell. It's beauty. It's a beauty. Anyway, till the next one. Cheers.